Hello everyone, welcome to our reading comprehension video on types of questions asked in reading comprehension. This video is brought to you by Learning Made Easy team, a team of IIM grads in association with our e-learning partner GTCUBE.com. If you are watching this video in our YouTube channel, do check out a full-length course available for free at gtcube.com/store. So let's get started. So we have classified the type of questions asked in reading comprehension. The agenda is not for us to keep these words in mind. It's more to understand what type of questions are asked. Based on your practice, you'll get to know which areas or which type of questions are your forte, are basically strong areas, and which are your problem areas, right? So that you can work on them, or maybe by the time you reach the exam day, you avoid certain set of questions or you prefer certain set of questions based on your strengths and weaknesses, right? So it's not really about the names, it's more about understanding the meaning behind this so that you can develop the sense of picking the right questions and being careful or extra careful based on your strengths and weaknesses. So the first type is general questions, the next is specific detail based questions. So we'll discuss about each category in the coming part of the video. So these are the 5 categories: inference based questions, vocabulary based questions, the style and tone based questions. So let's just jump into each one of them to understand. So general questions, so this is more like you read the passage, get a good understanding of the overall meaning, overall sense of the passage to answer this question, right? Like the types are, what is the central idea of the passage, or what is the main purpose or idea of the passage, right? This is one type of question that you can expect. The other way of asking pretty much the similar thing is selecting the most suitable title for the passage, or the most apt title for the passage is, right? So you look at the options and understand which of the title would justify the topic being discussed by the author in the passage. The other type in the same category is which of the following best describes the organization of the passage, right? The structure of the passage. So these are all the questions which you can answer only if you get a good sense of the passage, the gist of the passage. You have to read from the start to the end to get an understanding of what the author is trying to talk about, what is the most important element that he is putting forward, right? You will find multiple important points being discussed, but you have to get an understanding of what would be that most important point that he's talking in this whole passage, or what is the reason behind writing whatever he has written in this passage, right? The next type of question is specific detail or fact based questions. So this is more like the question would be mentioning a part of the passage, right? Let's say if a passage is talking about if you remember the earlier video, if you've seen it, we have talked about existentialism, right? If the passage says which of the following is correct, which of the following is the correct reason for whatever the thing that is being mentioned in the passage, right? You have to go to that particular area or piece of the passage, read through them and answer the given question, right? So these would be most probably the type that we are discussing here would be fact based, where you just have to, let's say the passage talks about the reason behind a problem is X, right? And then the question says which of the following is the reason behind the problem, right? And then you'll see all the options. You'll easily check the same thing. Okay, according to the passage, you just refer to a couple of lines, you understand X is the reason behind the problem, and then you'll select the X as the answer, right? These are pretty straightforward. You just look at the specific details that are being asked in the specific details that are being mentioned in the passage. You just get a clue of what detail should I look, or what part of passage should I look, being given in the question itself. And according to the passage, what is the reason behind the problem, or the passage states that the problem is because of ABC with XYZ as options, you can pick X as the answer, right? Which of the following is the correct reason. So these are the easiest type of question that you'll get, and you should definitely not miss this, right? All you need to do is to check the specific parts of the passage. You just understand that, okay, the clue would be given in the question, what would be the relevant piece of information that I should read, check. Based on that, you just check the facts and then answer these questions, right? The next category, the most difficult one according to me, is this inference based questions. right? So this is like, these questions, the answers would not be straightforward from the passage. These are more like, this is what the author is trying to say, that is basically reading between the lines. You just guess that I think the author would agree with this, or the author said so and so because he wanted to convey this point, right? So it's basically asking about inferences, not direct statements or direct lines in the passage. Here you have to actually read between the lines and understand and get the answer. Which of the following statements can be inferred from the given passage, right? You'll have 4 options. The complexity involved in this specific question, right? Which of the following statements can be inferred from the given passage, is that the 4 points or the 4-5 statements that you see in the options could be from different areas or different parts of the passage, not necessarily, at a similar juncture of the passage, which makes it even more complex because you have to read maybe the whole passage again to get an understanding of what each statement is being talking about. Is it right? Can I infer it, or can I, not, right? Which of the following statements cannot be inferred from the given passage? Again, the same issue. If I get 4-5 statements from different areas of the passage, I have to check each and every statement and see, okay, I can infer this based on what the author is said in second line. I can infer this based on what the author said in 6th line, but I don't see any clue for this option. So you have to check each option and each and every option and check at multiple parts of the passage. That's added complexity. First, you have to read between lines. Second, you also have to read multiple parts of the passage to check and eliminate each and every option, right? Then you have inference questions which actually are talking about a specific detail, right? So this is slightly different from the earlier specific detail question where we get facts, we don't have to read between lines. Even though there will be a clue given in the question, right? What can be inferred when the author states that the problem is a big problem, right? So you understand, okay, the author is talking about the question is talking about the problem being talked in the passage. You'll go to specific paragraph, specific part of the paragraph where the whole discussion about problem is being discussed. You can check through and answer and eliminate the options, but still you have to read between lines. Here you can get a clue so that you can avoid going through all the parts of passage to eliminate all the options, but still you have to check and read between the lines of whatever the relevant parts of the passage being referred in the question and answer it. And what can be inferred from the sentence, etc. Like they'll give you part of the sentence. Again, you have to read between lines. You can easily check the sentence in the passage, but you have to read couple of lines above it, couple of lines below it to get a complete context and then answer the question, right? Final type, which of the following statements would the author most likely agree with? This is similar to the first question, right? This one is again, they would not give straightforward statements in the options. This is slightly an extension to, out of passage question where the author, the question basically gives you options which you won't find the direct statements in the question, in the passage. It would be more like the author, I guess, would agree with this because he talked about so and so in the passage. That should be the logical continuation of it or something like that, right? So again, it's like you have to read between lines, get a sense of what author would agree with and answer it. It is again a complex question. So that's why I feel the inference based questions are the complex ones out of all the types of questions that we generally see. And this is where most of the students get it wrong, even with respect to the accuracy part, right? You attempt it but you get the wrong answer most probably. Then the vocabulary based questions, select the word that is most nearly similar in meaning to the following word used in the passage. So like you'll see a specific word used in the passage, they'll put that word in the question and ask you to pick the antonym or synonym, similar in meaning or opposite in the meaning, right? In the passage, the phrase so and so refers to, right? And then you'll see 4 or 5 options explaining the meaning of it. So if you know the word meaning, you'll find the question super easy. If you don't know the meaning of the word, you still have a chance to go through that line, or maybe 2-3 lines above, below it, below the word, so that you get a context of what the passage is talking about at that part, and you can guess the meaning of the word, right? That's like contextual vocabulary meaning. So that's a skill that you can develop. It's difficult to know meaning of each and every word, but if you know the meaning of the word, that's great. You can obviously answer it very easily. Even if you don't, you can still answer the question based on reading those 2-3 lines above and below it, get a context and sort of guess the meaning of the word and check the options and you can answer it. Finally, the style or tone based questions. So like for example, tone, which of the following best describes the tone of the author in the passage? right? Or the author's attitude might best be described as which of the following. So you'll have generally three style tones: positive, neutral, and negative, right? You will see a good set of words being used over there, right? Aggressive, etc., etc. So being aggressive, you just have to see how harsh the author is. Like, is he just calmly, nicely putting the statements, or is he actually trying to say what I'm saying is correct, and the way the words are, it's you'll find the clues in the passage where you will see a certain set of words which sort of makes you feel, is the author trying to put arguments on both sides, or is he favoring completely one side? Is he being harsh, or is he being very, on a lighter tone? Is he being sarcastic, or is he being very serious, or something like that, right? So you can find the list of the tones. You can just Google it, tones of authors for RC. You'll get meaning of those tones. Once you know the meaning of different tones or potential tones that could be the options, there is an endless list of options you can find for the tones, but still getting a good sense of major important ones would help you to a good level. After that, the important skill that you need to develop to answer this question is that you read the passage, get the clues that are basically the words that are being used, how positive or negative the author is talking, or is he neutral, right? Get a sense of that from the words that are being used in the passage. Is he being extremely positive, or extremely negative, or slightly positive? You'll get the sense based on how the same statement is being written, right? If I say I believe X is the best person in the world, that is one way of putting it. Other way of putting it is like, I would say that no one else can match X, or X is the best person in the world, is being very positive about him. If I say I guess X can be considered as one of the better person in the world, here I am slightly positive, right? So that's the difference. You will see the same statement being written in different ways. Finally, which of the following best describes the style of the passage? So you have certain styles like argumentative, descriptive, narrative, etc. So you can again Google 6-7 styles. There are some standard styles. Just get a sense of what each styles are, and you can answer those questions. But again, it's all about reading the passage, getting a sense of these set of questions are basically requiring you to read the entire passage, get the clues at multiple places, and it's more like a feeling that you generate once you read the passage, rather than looking at just a couple of sentences or a paragraph in the passage to answer this question, right? So the agenda behind talking these set of questions is not to just give you the meanings of different types of questions. As I said, keep these type of questions in mind. Once you start practicing the questions, you'll get a sense of all these questions occurring in different practice RCs. Then you'll also see your accuracy, how good you are, or what are your strong areas and weak areas in these different types of questions. Once you get a sense of it, it is like developing a science behind it, right? You do some analysis, you get a sense of, okay, I have attempted 10 tone based questions in practice RCs, I got only 2 correct, which means I'm not really good at tone. That means I'll start working on it to improve my skills. That's one way to look at it. If my exam is just, it's right now, I can't do much about the preparation. The other takeaway could be that I will most probably avoid questions asking on the tone, right? If there is a lot of native marking or something else, because my chance of getting it correct is less than 20-30%. So there's no, there's better I invest my time on something else where I can actually get the answer correct with a better accuracy or better probability, right? That's the reason that we've discussed these types of questions. That helps you to analyze after you practice different RCs, and you can prepare and improve, and second, build your strategy for the exam, right? So thank you for watching this video. If you're watching this video on the YouTube channel, do check out the free courses available at gtcube.com/store for different competitive exams you are looking for. Also, like our partners Facebook page, facebook.com/gtcube3. You'll find a lot of updates that will help you in your preparation. Thank you for watching this video, and let's meet in the next video.